What was your favourite match from WrestleMania 37?
What, over both nights or one night or two night?
You can have a favourite match from each night, yeah.
Night 2 has to be the triple threat, Daniel Bryan versus Edge versus Roman Reigns.
That was kind of the only good match on that night, wasn't it?
To be honest with you, the most of the card is already like a bit of a distant memory. Was it Seth Rollins Cesaro on night 1?
Yes.
Yes, that would be my match of the night on night 1. I didn't think that Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair actually worked very well. I don't know about you.
I actually had to rewatch it because I went to bed.
Maybe it was because it was on at 4 a.m. and I was quite heavily wasted, but I just didn't feel like they gelled very well, which was disappointing.
No, even on a rewatch, I would agree with you, Cesaro. Seth Rollins was better.
Rollins and Cesaro had a 18-minute banger in 8 minutes.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Both of those picks are my two favourite matches as well. I did like Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, which you
That was
didn't.
a fun match.
Yeah, but you didn't vibe with it, did you?
I just don't like... Well, this is the chit-chat that we're going to have this week. I didn't like Logan Paul's involvement whatsoever. And I mean, the main problem with WrestleMania... How many minutes I've got left?
You got 3 minutes left.
The main problem with WrestleMania for me was it's such a weird criticism. The matches were too short. It felt like everybody had been given an allocated set of time between 6 and 12 minutes, and I would have liked to see some of these matches given a little bit more space to breathe. Like Apollo Crews versus Big E match, which was great, but it was 6.5 minutes long. So it didn't even get time to get going.
It's basically a SmackDown
really.
match, isn't it?
Yeah, and that was both nights of WrestleMania. Like, when you ask me what my favourite matches were, I don't think that anything apart from the women's tag stuff was particularly bad. I just feel like nobody was given enough time to make a classic.
Yeah, there was no epic matches.
I am glad that they managed to pull off Roman, Edge, and Bryan. I knew it was going to be a good match, but I was a little bit hesitant about it given the sloppy way that they'd built to it.
Yeah, looking back on it, it makes all the sense that they went with Roman, but I don't think any of us called it.
No. Everybody either had Edge or Bryan. But
which made it so much better.
That's a WrestleMania moment.
Yeah, true. So
I enjoyed WrestleMania this year.
So other than the women's match, which I think everyone believes is a bit of a dud, what do you think was the worst match?
The women's tag stuff wasn't great.
Other than that, what do you think didn't perform well?
Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon. I did not enjoy that whatsoever. That was a very long waste of time for me. There's even the Shane spot that they built up to. Shane has to do this crazy spot off the top was a bit lame.
I thought that Sheamus Riddle match was weird.
I thought it was okay. It felt to me like they were almost shooting, like they didn't like each other, which was strange. The biggest disappointment for me of the whole night was Randy Orton versus The Fiend. I liked the way they went with it, with the Alexa Bliss bleeding black and stuff, but it was a 5-minute match that Randy Orton won. And after all of that build-up, I was expecting a little bit more spectacle and a little bit more time given to that. And certainly not for it to be the curtain jerker.
Yeah, it was weird. That was weird.
By the way, he hasn't been on since.
Who, Randy or Bray?
The Fiend. He had one Firefly Funhouse in which we didn't really say anything, and that was that.
Well, Meltzer pretty much agrees with us. Cesaro and Seth Rollins, Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair got 4 stars, and then the triple threat got 4.5 stars.
I think Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks will go down in history because of what it is, and but in terms of the actual quality of the match, I'm not sure it holds up. It's like one of those John Cena versus The Rock things. The actual quality of the match doesn't really matter.
True. Alright, well that's it. All we got time for on this. That was our favourite matches. Until then, keep it botched.
Brother.
Like, share, and subscribe to Keep It Botched Up, brother.